So my name is Anthon Ivarsson, and I'm working at Amazon, where I'm head of supply chain operations for Germany, Poland, and Czech Republic, and I'm based out of Luxembourg. So I'm running the supply chain operations, and I have a team, 3 teams, where we work on our supply chain planning, the sales and operational planning, and inbound execution, outbound execution. So we are the ones that are making the supply chain operate the way we plan it. To Amazon, I got headhunted after I was working for A.T. Kearney, the management consulting firm, which I joined after my executive MBA. I did the EMBA Global Asia program, it's called. It's the program where you divide your time between 3 schools, Columbia Business School, London Business School, and Hong Kong University. So it's 1 week over 18 months in each of these cities. So it's a traveling program. How did I find it? I actually think I found it ads at the Hong Kong airport first. That's probably how I found it. But I was starting to look to do an executive MBA, and then I'm starting to look at the different rankings. I spoke to different people who have done different MBAs, so I think it was a full blast from many different directions. But I remember the ad very vividly. That's a big question, very big question. I loved it. It's probably the best decisions I ever made in my entire life. You learn so much. You get fantastic network. You make really great friends, and you learn a lot. But it also comes with a lot of sacrifices and a lot of hard work. So I think those are the shortest, best way to explain it. I honestly, it's like doing an MBA or executive MBA. It's a fantastic experience, but you work a full time. And my job at that time, I was global head of transformation work at Maersk, so I had quite a lot to do. And when you do an executive MBA, you pretty much have the same curriculum as the full-time MBA, which means that you have to study full-time and you have to work full-time. So you have to cut things from your life, and that is always very hard. And the things that are cut are normally sleep and your friends and all the activities you do in time. So I had to learn to get up at 4:35 in the morning and study 3-4 hours before I go to work. And then as soon as I came home, I had to study. So I missed a lot of trips, I missed a lot of weddings and different type of activities that I would have normally joined. Absolutely, it was worth it, no doubt. It comes with so much. It's like all the investments. You have to give something up in order to get something. And I had a clear path of what I wanted to do after my MBA, and one of the milestones was to go into tech. And I'm there now, and I would have never been able to come here if I didn't do my MBA for various reasons, both through connections and the skills I've learned. And fortunately, my friends still like me, so I managed to rebuild all the time I lost with them for 2 years, and also my wife. So it's definitely worth it. It's about communication as well. You have to make sure that the people that are close to you and that things you care about, that you're doing this for a particular reason, whatever that is to you, and make sure that they understand it's important to you, and then they will most likely support you. That was my case. I wanted to change my career. I wanted to change. I was working for Maersk, the shipping company, so I was doing supply chain and logistics and shipping, and I wanted to go into tech. And when you want to make that jump, it could be quite a big jump, and it's not always easy for a company to see how can my skill set add value to this different world. So my idea was to go into an MBA, make my way into a bridge role that could help me to get into tech. And that's exactly what I did. And after my MBA, I joined A.T. Kearney, the management consultant firm. I'd worked quite a few years before, and the full-time MBA, it's a different setup, right? So I had to leave my job, which I was not willing to do, and the curriculum is the same, so that wouldn't be a problem. But the people are much younger at a full-time MBA, and I already did a master's in management, so I thought I did that. So I picked executive MBA because this class is different. There's much more experience, and one thing I was looking for was to have conversations with like executives that's been doing things for 10-15 years, where you bring a different perspective. If you only work for a couple of years, you still come from a school book perspective, but if you experience a lot around the world, then your answers will be different and your view of life will be different. So that's why. To me, it's you need to know why you're doing it. It's absolutely the most important thing. So an MBA is not a silver bullet to solve your life at all. So, but it will enable you to do certain things that you want to do. And if it's do a career change, if it's to learn certain things, if it's to, progress in your current company, whatever it is, you need to ask yourself, if that's what I want to do, can the MBA help me? And then when you go into the MBA, you need to have that in mind all the time. So, because there's so many activities, there's so many different classes and so many different people you speak, but if you're focused around those things, then you will achieve what you want. Because if you go in just with the idea that you want to get those 3 letters after your name, I do not think it's a very good idea, because you can learn a lot of these things at YouTube or any other place. Then it's better to not do an MBA. I think they're great, to be honest. I never attended a curious event before, but I think it's really good. I told a bunch of people that I spoke to afterwards is that just by coming to these events, I think they have one leg up towards all the other students, because it shows that you're curious about an MBA, and it's actually you have a lot of questions and concerns. And a person that doesn't have a concern for jumping into an MBA, I don't think have thought it through, because it comes, like I said, with sacrifice and a lot of hard work. So I think it's a great opportunity for them to hear people like us that have been through it, but also to speak to the schools so they know. Because if you want to go into tech, maybe you should pick a specific school. If you want to go into pharma or supply chain or whatever, there are opportunities to get these whys answered by the school. So I think it's a great opportunity, and to get, do some first-hand research. And it's a good experience, very good. I think doing an MBA, like I said, it's a fantastic opportunity for the people that do it. And I think everybody who gets a chance should do it. But you need to know why, like I said. But also be very mindful when doing it. It comes at a certain price, and be willing to actually put the time and effort in. Because it's like everything else in life. It's like the more you give, the more you get. And to make sure that if you're doing it, spend the time, read the articles, engage in the conversations, network with everybody you can. Make sure you speak to as many people as possible, as different as people as possible. Test what you want to do. You might change your why during the time, but that's absolutely fine. But I think that would be my main recommendation. Suck it in and just use everything that you can.